Hello family, welcome to Family Devotions. Thank you again for tuning in. It has been a while since I posted a video, and yeah, we're back with a bang. And please be so kind, man, to support us. We really appreciate those who already subscribed. Please press the like button, notification, share this video with as many people as possible. Let's spread the word to grow this community. And Family Devotion is devoted to family values, the teachings of Jesus Christ, His gospel as revealed in the Bible, to strengthen families. Families are under attack today. So these principles, in as much as they are beneficial to individuals, but most importantly, they are meant also to strengthen families as well. So today I want to talk about this particular principle of second chances. I think all of us, we know we do need second chances, so to speak, whether it's from our loved ones, whether it's people that we associate with. If people were to dismiss us from the first mistake that we make, and that would be the end of it, I don't think where would we be, for that matter. So I think it's very, very important that we discuss this issue of second chance. Most importantly, the Lord Himself. Think about how many times the Lord has given you and I second chance from all the offenses that we have committed. And then here we are today, standing here because of the second chance, through the grace, through the mercy of God. I want to use the example in the scriptures of one named Peter, the Apostle Peter. I think it doesn't help us much as well, because my middle name is Peter as well. But nonetheless, Peter's life is a very interesting one. He was one of the first apostles that the Lord had called to follow Him as a disciple, and he's very inquisitive, he's very bold, he asks questions and all these things. So sometimes whenever he speaks, whenever I read about him, I'm like, wow, Peter, should you be asking this question now, or should you be saying this? But I like his boldness anyway, for that matter. I think if you were to ask anybody, what do you remember about Peter? A lot of people remember the account of him denying Jesus Christ 3 times, and that's where I want to start today. And I think at some point in time in our lives, we may have been a Peter in that state, and later on, I wanna the story is going to be complete when we learn about the redemption of Peter. So I want to quickly read in the scriptures the account of Peter here. Jesus Christ is about to be crucified, and he's with his disciples. And so I just want to read quickly here in the book of Mark, chapter 14. From verse 26, it reads, it says, "And when they sang a hymn, they went to the Mount of Olives. And Jesus said unto them, You will fall away, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered." So he's preparing them what is about to happen, that him is going to be struck, and those who following him, his followers, disciples, they will be scattered. "But after I'm raised up, I will go before you to Galilee." Peter said unto him, listen to what Peter says, "Even though they all fall away, I will not." So he's so emphatic about this. Whatever happens to you, I will not fall away. I will always be with you. And Jesus said unto him, "Truly I tell you, this very night, before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. And he said emphatically, "If I must die with you, I will not deny you." And they all said the same. Even other apostles of Jesus Christ, they said the same thing, like, hey, no matter what happens, we are with you all the way. And I think all of us can learn a good lesson from this one, because many times, especially when you're in a good space spiritually, for that matter, we feel like there isn't anything that can separate us from the love of God. And indeed, there shouldn't be anything that can separate us from the love of God. But there has been, even in my life, for that matter, that there have been situations whereby I had denied the faith. Maybe not at the magnitude of Peter. I remember there was a situation whereby I wanted to fit in with this crowd of people and all of that. And I remember them asking me a question, and I knew the context of the question at that moment. Like, are you one of those that goes to church all the time and things like that? Are you, one of those? I understood one of those men that was a little bit uncool or something like that. And I downplayed it. It's like, nah, man, nah. I go to church, I like church, I downplayed it. I didn't express my conviction, my truth, my faith that I'm a committed disciple follower of Jesus Christ. There are certain things that I do not do, certain places that I do not go, certain language I do not use for that matter. And I was not as confident as Peter. And indeed later on, as it were, when the mob came to take Jesus Christ away and was brought before the council, and Peter stood far off, just as Jesus Christ had predicted that I'll strike the shepherd and the sheep will be scattered. There he was stricken, and all his followers, they were nowhere to be found. You know what I mean? And it says Peter was sitting in the courtyard, and one of the servant girls of the high priest came and seeing Peter warming himself up, standing next to the fire because it was cold. And she looked at him and said, "You're also with the Nazarene Jesus." But he denied, saying, I neither know nor understand what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about. And he went out into the gateway, and the rooster crowed. And when the servant girl saw him, and began again to say to the bystander, "This man is one of them." But again he denied it. And after a little while, the bystander again said to Peter, "Certainly you're one of them, for you are a Galilean." But he began to invoke a curse on himself and to swear. There he was swearing, "I do not know this man whom you speak." And immediately the rooster crowed the second time, and Peter remembered how Jesus said to him, before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. And he broke down and wept. Think about that moment where there's been times in our lives whereby we thought, there's certain things I'll never do in my life. There's certain place I'll never be in my life. There's certain place I'll never go. Certain language I'll never use. Certain music I'll never listen to. Certain movies I'll never watch. You know what I mean? And there you are with your actions, and you find yourself in that spot that you never thought that you'll be, because of the confidence that you had. And I think all of us, we can relate to this. We've been Peter in this stage. I know of myself. I've been in situations like this where I was not emphatic I was not confident in my faith. I felt peer pressure to wanting to sound cool, to be like the cool kids, for that matter, in that particular moment. But we can look at this and point fingers at Peter, like, you were with the Savior, and you've seen him do miracles and all these things. How could you deny him? And we're doing the same. Peter, there was a time where Jesus Christ was asking them, "Who do men say I am?" And people were saying John the Baptist, others were saying Elias. And Jesus Christ asked his disciples, "Whom do you say I am?" And Peter answered with conviction that thou art the Son of the living God, thou art the Messiah. And Jesus Christ said to him, "Flesh and blood had not revealed this unto you, but my Father in heaven." And think about that Peter had a firm testimony of who Jesus Christ was as the Messiah, So it was not like he was like wishy-washy or whatever. And Jesus Christ confirms to him and says that flesh and blood had not revealed. Nobody told you this, but my Father in heaven is the one who revealed these things unto you. And there he was at this moment, his lowest moment, where he denied him, even though earlier on he said he will not. And I think we can learn a lesson from that. And I think the lesson to be learned is that even though we may go through those type of seasons, there's always redemption, there's always a restoration. And I think the story of Peter as well, because a lot of people will look at when he denied Jesus Christ, we forget when he got restoration. When Jesus Christ, after his resurrection, when he was appearing to his disciples, first to Mary Magdalene and later on to his disciples and to other people as well. The last time when he appears to his disciples, he says that he appears to the 7. They were fishing. And then Peter says, "Hey, I'm going to go fishing." And then the other says, "Hey, we'll go with you." And he says, Jesus Christ, because they were fishing all night and they were not catching any fish anyway. And he says, just as the day was breaking, just in the morning, basically, they stood the whole night and they couldn't catch any fish. Jesus stood on the shore, and yet his disciples, they did not know that it was him at that moment. And Jesus said unto them, "Children, do you have any fish?" And they answered to him, "No." And he said to them, "Cast your nets on the right." And so they cast it, Now they were not able to haul in because the quantity of fish, there were so many, they caught so many. And because of the quantity of the disciples whom Jesus Christ loved, this is John, the disciple whom Jesus Christ loved. John therefore said to Peter, "It is the Lord." When Peter heard this, the scriptures, they say that he just jumped into the water and swam to the shore, while the other apostles, they came with the boat as they were bringing the fish. And the other disciples came dragging the boat because the fish was full of nets. And Jesus Christ, he already prepared the fire. He says, "Bring out the fish, let's have breakfast." And it says, very interesting, they said the fish, there were 153 of them, that they caught at that time. And, and they ate the bread and all these things. And this was the third time that Jesus Christ had revealed himself to his apostles after his resurrection. An interesting thing happens after this. There's the moment that Jesus Christ got one-on-one, so to speak, with Peter. Remember the last time before his crucifixion, he had denied him. And obviously later on, when he appeared to them and all that, but they hadn't had a moment whereby Jesus Christ was to speak to Peter and be with him and all of that. And it says, when they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Son of John, do you love me more than these?" And he said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Very interesting question. Do you love me? Do you love me more than this? "No, Lord, you know that I love you." And Jesus Christ said to him, "Feed my lambs." And he said to him the second time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And he said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." And he said to him, "Tend my sheep." And he said to him the third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was grieved because he had said to him the third time, "Do you love me?" And he said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my sheep." Look at this moment of redemption for Peter. 3 times he denied him. 3 times the Lord is redeeming him here. He's giving him a commission. Feed my sheep. Do you love me? Yes, Lord, I love you. Asked him again, do you love me? But and for me, the message there for me is this. Yes, go and feed my sheep and all of these things. But it's a moment of redemption for Peter. He denied him 3 times. This time he's confessing with his mouth how much he loves Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ still tells him 3 times, go and feed my sheep. And the point of emphasis for me, for you and I, and what I've learned in my life, what I've seen in my life, is that it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you did. It doesn't matter how big you think or perceive the sin is. It doesn't matter how much you think the Lord is upset with you. It doesn't matter where you have been. Perhaps you were up there. Now you're a little bit down here, for that matter. Only Jesus Christ, through the power of his atoning sacrifice, through him dying on the cross for you and I, you're going to have the privilege to be redeemed and to be restored as if nothing had ever happened. And we know what became of the life of Peter after this. He became a leader of the church. He became the chief apostle. He made so many miracles, healing people, raising people from the dead, preaching the word with boldness, with power, with authority, and all of that. The point for me is this, like, I know I'm repeating myself. It doesn't matter where we have been. It doesn't matter what we have done. Only Jesus Christ, through his mercy and his grace, he can restore us. Hence, he's called the advocate with the Father. There is no sin big enough that he cannot cleanse out of our system, out of our souls. We can be redeemed, we can be made clean, we can be made pure, as if nothing has ever happened. All we need to do is to turn to him. Simon, Peter, thou son of John, do you love me? Yes, Lord, you know that. Therefore, feed my sheep. Okay. We need to feed the sheep, our brothers and sisters, share the word with them, and all of that. Live as Peter lived. Look at his example. What is that we can learn from his example? It just doesn't matter where we started. What's important is where we finish. Look where he started. A lot of us could have written him off. You denied God himself, and there he was, acknowledging God himself, Jesus Christ, at that very moment. So if there's a hope for Peter, there's hope for all of us. We should not listen to the lies of the evil one that tells us that, because you've done this, your life is finished and all of that. God is a God of second chances. And there's people in our lives that we might need to give second chances to, because we need to be given second chances ourselves. And we're going to require these second chances so many times in our lives, because none of us are perfect. All of us have fallen short of perfection. We need the mercy, we need the grace of God, we need the love of Jesus Christ, we need His redemption, we need His redemptive power so that we can be restored. And I believe this wholeheartedly with all of my heart, family. And I pray that this message will find a place in your heart, in your lives. I hope this message will give you hope and encouragement to be who you are meant to be as disciples of Jesus Christ. It is my prayer, it is my hope, it is my faith, it is my wish for all of us, everyone who gets to hear this message, that there is hope, there is love, there is restoration. We can be like the Apostle Peter. We can feed his lamb. Son of John, son of whoever out there, do you love me? Yes, Lord, thou knowest that I love you. Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. And I hope this message will resonate with you. I hope to see you on the next video. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next time again. Bye-bye.